Do you guys know Indian constitution is the detailed constitution all around the world? Not only detailed but also powerful constitution all around the world. Hi all, welcome to Lexeria, your law learning space. In this video, we'll be covering salient features of Indian constitution. Before moving into the salient features of Indian constitution, we should know what the term salient feature means, right? Salient feature means the unique characteristics that Indian constitution has. Though Indian constitution has adopted several provisions from several constitutions of different other country, it has its own unique characteristics, and such unique characteristics are called salient features of Indian constitution. And now on going with the salient features of Indian constitution, we have nearly 17 salient features, that is 70 unique features of Indian constitution. You can remember it by remembering the mnemonic that life can give you BP someday. So as it is difficult to remember all of these 17, you can remember it by remembering this simple one line, that is life can give you BP someday. And the abbreviation of the mnemonics I have given in this chart, where you can refer it to the salient features of Indian constitution in order to remember it in a easy way, right? So life can give you BP someday. So this one line, by this remembering this one single line, you can remember all the 17 salient features of Indian constitution. And now let us go in detail with every salient features of a constitution one by one, right? So first, Indian constitution is the lengthiest written constitution in the world. Which is the lengthiest written constitution? It is not the US, it is not the Canadian constitution, it is the Indian constitution which is the lengthiest written constitution all around the world. Where originally during the time of enforcement we had 395 articles, 22 parts and 8 schedules, and currently we have 470 articles, 12 schedules and 25 parts. And what is the reason that we have such a long and lengthiest written constitution is that we have diversities in our country, right? So we live in a country where unity in diversity is appreciated, where we have people with different culture, different language and different belief. In order to make a single constitution for all of them, it should have provisions that includes all of them. So that is one of the reasons why we have the lengthiest constitution. And also the vast geographical area and inclusivity of administrative detail contributes to this lengthiest constitution, right? So originally we had 395 articles and now we have 470 articles. How? Due to the amendments, the addition of articles that we made to our constitution in order to include or insert the needed provisions to our constitution, right? So on going with the second salient feature, it has integrated and independent judiciary. What does integrated judiciary means? It means the structured judiciary, right? So it means the proper hierarchy. So constitution provides us a proper hierarchy of judiciary, where we have Supreme Court at the top, High Court below it, and other district and other courts below high courts, right? So Supreme Court, High Court and subordinate courts. These are the hierarchy of courts that we have in India. And through what we have this hierarchy of courts? It is the constitution that gives us this hierarchy of courts. And as said, Supreme Court is the topmost court, that is the apex court, where constitution also says under article 141 that the law declared by the Supreme Court is binding on all the high courts and all other courts throughout the country, right? And also it has independent judiciary. What is independent judiciary means? Judiciary is independent from the influence of other two organs, that is legislative and executive. No one can interfere into the functions of the judiciary, thus makes it an independent judiciary, right? And on going with the next salient feature, it is independent bodies. So constitution does not only provide 3 branches of the government. What are all the 3 branches of the government? It is legislative, judiciary and executive, right? Constitution provides it, and constitution apart from this provides several other independent bodies. So several independent bodies such as Election Commission of India, Comptroller and Auditor General, Union Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commission are actually the independent bodies that constitution has given to us. So apart from the branches of the government or the organs of the government, we have several other independent bodies that the constitution has given. So it gives us independent bodies that functions independently without any influence of external forces, right? So next, the really important salient feature of Indian Constitution is fundamental rights. So we have adopted this concept of fundamental rights from US Constitution, right? So where part 3 of our Indian Constitution deals with fundamental rights, where it guarantees 6 fundamental rights to its citizens. That is Article 12 to Article 35 of our Constitution deals with fundamental rights, where under Article 12 to 35 it guarantees to its citizens 6 basic fundamental rights, and those fundamental rights are enforceable and justiciable. What does justiciable means? That is, it can be enforced in the courts. So that is justiciable. Obviously this fundamental rights is not absolute, right? What makes this not absolute? We have restrictions to this fundamental rights. It is not absolute. We have restriction to it. For example, in Article 19 we have restrictions for Article 19, right? So thus it is restricted, it has restrictions, and it is not absolute. And also these fundamental rights can be suspended during emergencies except 2 articles, Article 20 and Article 21. Except to these two, all other fundamental rights that are guaranteed under Part 3 can be suspended during emergencies. And when there is a right, there will also be duty, right? So such kind of duty is inserted by 42nd Amendment to our Indian Constitution. Thus we have fundamental duties. So originally when the Constitution was formed and enforced, we did not have this concept of fundamental duties. So it was a concept which is inserted to our Indian Constitution by the way of 42nd Amendment. Okay, 42nd Amendment, and what is the year? It is 1976. In 1976 only, under the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee, we inserted these 10 fundamental duties under Part 4A under Article 51A. So under 4A we had 10 fundamental duties initially, and now we have 11 fundamental duties, where it is inserted, the 11th fundamental duty is inserted by the 86th Amendment. So what are fundamental duties here? Fundamental duties are the responsibilities of the citizens, and I put to you a question that whether these fundamental duties are enforceable or justiciable before the courts. No, it is not justiciable. That is, it cannot be enforced before the courts, right? So these fundamental articles, the important point in this fundamental salient feature is that it is added in 42nd Amendment, and it is added by the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee. Originally we had 10 duties and now we have 11 duties, right? And these fundamental duties are not justiciable, and these are all the responsibilities that are put into the hands of the citizens, right? So when there is a right, we also have a corresponding duty. Thus we have fundamental right and fundamental duties. So on going with the next, it is federal system with unitary bias. So Indian Constitution provides us a federal system with unitary bias. That is, powers are divided between two different governments, that is the union government and the state government, but it is not equally divided, where the central government's power always dominates, and that's why we call federal system with unitary bias, right? So Article 1 of our Constitution states that it is union of states. That is, it says it is India as a federal system, but it is a federal system with unitary bias, where it has a central dominance, where we can say we have central dominance in the areas of residuary powers and during emergencies and all, right? So on going with the emergency provisions next, emergency provisions are actually the power that the president has, where whenever there is an extraordinary situation that happens in our country, where president has the power to declare emergencies, and we have 3 types of emergency that Constitution gives us. One is national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. Article 352 of our Constitution deals with national emergency, and Article 356 gives us state emergency, and Article 360 of our Constitution deals with financial emergency. And these are all the 3 types of emergencies that we have in India, which is provided through the Constitution. And these emergency provisions are adopted from the Government of India Act of 1935. Right, on going with the next silent feature, it is cooperative societies. So it is not an original feature that we had in our Constitution in 1950, where it has been added by the 97th Amendment in the year 2011, where what are all the changes that we have brought in 97th Amendment is that this formation of cooperative society has become a fundamental right under Article 19 of the Constitution. Then it has also took part or inserted in the DPSP, that is Directive Principles of the State Policy, and a separate new part, that is Part 9B, has been inserted to our Constitution. So by all these, by the amendment and by the insertion of all these articles, Constitution recognized the cooperative society. Right, so this is one of the salient feature of a constitution, and next it is important feature, that is three-tier government that we have in our country. So initially we had only two-tier government, that is the union government and the state government, where constitution did not mention about the local governments. But by the 73rd amendment in 1992 and 74th amendment in 1992, these panchayat and municipalities were recognized by the constitution. Thus, a constitution gives us three governments, three-tier government, that is union government, state government and the local government, right? And on going with the other, it is universal adult franchise. What is universal adult franchise? It means that any person who is above 18 years of age can vote and elect their representatives. So that is universal adult franchise. So Article 326 of our constitution deals with our universal adult franchise, and before 61st amendment, a person who is 21 years of age, who is above 21 years of age only can vote. So after the 61st amendment, it was reduced to the age of 18, where any person who is above 18 years of age can vote, right? So this is universal adult franchise, that is any person who is above 18 has the right to vote and elect their representative or elect their government, right? So ongoing with the other important feature is that bicameralism. What is bicameralism? Bi means two, right? So cameralism is actually means the parliament, where we have two levels of parliament in our constitution. One is we have the upper house and the other is we have the lower house, that is the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. We have two houses, upper house and lower house, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, right? So it is a blend of rigidity and flexibility. Yes, Indian constitution is the blend of rigidity and flexibility. So for example, there are certain provisions in our articles that requires only simple majority, that is a simple procedure that is to be followed in order to modify the constitution, that is amend the constitution. And the other part, some of the parts of a constitution requires special majority. For example, for amending the fundamental rights and also the basic features of a constitution, it requires special majority, right? What is special majority? That is all the members, 2/3 of all the members of the parliament. And what is special, simple majority? It is 2/3 of the members present and voting, right? So there are certain provisions in that Indian constitution gives us simple means of modification, simple procedure that can be followed for modification, and there are certain parts where we have to follow hectic procedure to modify, and thus it makes rigid and flexible combination, right? So it is a blend of rigidity and flexibility. And it has, as said, it has borrowed several features from various sources. That is, Indian constitution is somehow a result of borrowed features from other constitutions all around the world, right? So it is often called a patchwork. It is not adopted as such. As such, we did not adopt. For example, we adopted fundamental rights, and also we have adopted fundamental duties and DPSPs from different constitutions, but we did not take it as it is. Okay, so as it is, we did not take, where we took that and we modified or shaped, molded in a way that it suits our people and it suits our culture, right? So thus it is borrowed feature, and that borrowed feature is molded to suit our people. So that is borrowed feature. And on going with the other, it is parliamentary form of government. We all know that we have parliamentary form of government from Article 74 and 75 and Articles 163 and 164, where we have parliamentary system at the center and we have parliamentary system at the states, right? In center we have Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. In states we have what? Legislative assemblies for each and every state. That thus we adopt parliamentary form of government, right? So on going with the other, it is secular state. What is secularism? Secularism means that the state does not have any religion. State does not have any official religion. It does not support any religion also, where it treats every religion equally and it gives freedom to every religion equally, and thus is called as secular state, where Indian constitution provides us a secular state, where it declares India as a secular state, that it has no official religion, where it treats every other religion equally. So that is secular state. And it is single citizenship. So we have single citizen, right? We will say that I am an Indian citizen, and I won't say that I am a citizen of Tamil Nadu or I am a citizen of Kerala, right? We'll say all together we'll have a single citizenship, where we can say I am an Indian. So it does not provide to dual citizenship as we have in US. So in India we have single citizenship, and articles 5 to 11 of our constitution deals with citizenship in our country, that is in our constitution, right? So on going with the directive principles of state policy, what is directive principles? It is actually a guidelines for the state to establish social and economic democracy, right? So whenever a state want to make laws, they should follow these guidelines or keep these guidelines in a mind and make a law that in a way that it fits these DPSP, that is directive principles, that is given by the constitution. So these are all the objectives that government try to achieve, objectives that government try to resolve, issues that government try to resolve, right? So part 4 of a constitution gives us DPSP, that is directive principles of state policy, which is from article 36 to article 51 of our constitution, deals with directive principles of state policy. So Indian constitution has these salient features where it makes our constitution unique in its own way, right? So thus we have come to the end of this video. Well, I'll attach these PPT in the description box, where students who need this PPT for reference can refer it in the description box. In our next video, we'll be discussing about the preamble and the important features of preamble. Thank you.